Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the topic I have this week, I'd like to say if you like to receive weekly articles from Life for Living Well community, please sign up on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. If you also like to watch the video episode of this podcast, you can check it out on our YouTube channel at Life for Living Well. So if you just search for Life for Living Well, it will take you to our YouTube channel. So let's dive into it without taking much of your time. This week, the topic I'm looking at is what I call what I've learned in striving to be better. So I would like to hear your own experience, the process that you take, or what have making that process to work and making yourself become better than who you are. So let's dive in. As we normally do, we take one inspirational quote and then we build around it. Today we are taking from Chinese philosopher Confucius what is said about working on yourself or striving to become better. Confucius put it this way: it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. So the key reason of this quote is that it's not the speed or the space that you take. What is more important is not how many times you have adversity or setback or disappointment. It's what you do with all those, despite all those disappointments, it's what you do that counts and that work toward your becoming better. So, it is not a coincidence that most people aspire to a better life and self-development. And in my own view, it is a beautiful thing when an individual can see positive changes in their lives and testify to those associated with it. So would not like to take this podcast too long, but just want to focus on journey of striving to be better. So as I put the title of the podcast into what I've learned in striving to be better. So I definitely will focus on being precise and go straight to the point. And I also want to let you aware that when we say we're striving to be better, these journeys are actually, it should and it is an individual journey and it's very subjective. What is better to me might not be better to you. But what is universally acceptable is to be a reasonable person. And a reasonable person knows that exploiting someone else or taking advantage of someone else is actually taking advantage of themselves. They might not say it that way, but it's something that always happens. It's a law of nature. If you don't put anything on the ground, you should not expect anything to come out of the ground. So before I dive into the few lessons I've personally learned from striving to be better, it is important to ask a few questions as you listen to me right now. What is better for you? So if you say you want to become better, it implies you are not already. You already have enough, and it is not about the journey or process of constant struggle or seeking to acquire things, but it is about micro improvement in area where we are not currently utilizing. And to be better is the ability to utilize your strengths in many situations you will find yourself, whether having a friend or being in relationships or working or changing a job or even finish your education. is to really understand your strength. And there's no one that has strength that doesn't have a weakness and the weaknesses. And what is more common with everybody, we are so good in pinpoint other people's weaknesses. We can see the bad behaviors that they were doing. We can analyze it. But what is more difficult is to recognize our own weaknesses, our own bad behaviors. And working on ourselves to become better is the ability to utilize our weaknesses, to utilize our strengths while managing our weaknesses. We are also part of nature. So when we come with a part of nature, the way we build, the way we create, the environment we grow up, the education we had, all of this contributed to who you are right now. But there's also part of you that is not unraveled to you yet. And it is a process, steps, actions, behavior that can bring unconscious to conscious, where we suddenly realize that, wow, I didn't know I can do this, but it's already there. But the ability to exploit it is what we lack. And when we don't know our strength, we don't even know our weaknesses. So we'll be using the resources, the limited resources we have with time, with opportunities, and being expanding in a way that is damaging our bigger goals. So why is it that some individuals can relatively handle setbacks and pressure with grace? So these are the questions I'm asking when I was even putting this podcast down. How can one optimize strength against weaknesses? It's another question I ask. I may do a podcast on all these questions at one point. So, as individuals, we possess abundances of strength and weakness. And only when we have worked on ourselves to know area or strength that we have, or how we can utilize and optimize it, we must also work the same way to identify our weaknesses so that we don't overconfidence in some situations and put ourselves there. Because many successes and failures that we will experience will depend on how we play to our strength against our weaknesses. So that is what striving to be better means. What is your strength? What is your weaknesses? Today, many people follow crowds without even being comfortable to be a solo journer. So let's quickly see what I've learned in striving to be better. Number one is developing self-awareness. The business of life could make this process very difficult to practice without setting intention toward it. Sometimes you could just be in your head without really knowing what's going on in your body. You could go on and not even notice people around you, what they are really feeling and going on in their mind based on their actions and behavior. So personally, one of the key things I notice is that in some situations, being reactive comes from erroneous beliefs that I had. Keeping a diary, writing down thoughts, and reflecting on them serve as the first step, akin to a golden map or plan for exploration. This is really helped me in this journey. To have a quiet time with myself, even if it's only 20 minutes, to take a walk across the lake or walk in the forest, but find a place where I have limited distractions and embrace the things I cannot change. So, one of the key things and tools that are required to actually follow and do this process is the ability to develop our self-awareness. Through it, we have a chance to explore, to identify our strengths and our weaknesses. Number 2, work harder on yourself. I've seen people that work so hard on their jobs, so their relationships suffer, their businesses suffer, they develop so full of a different illnesses because they go to the extreme of everything. Temperance, everything in moderation, they are the opposite of it. They make more money, but they spend more money to look after the earth that is actually preventable. But do the opposite. Work harder on yourself. If you are striving to be better, there is no other way that you will not work harder on yourself. So, no matter how much you love what you do, you could end up spending loads of hours on your job without truly knowing yourself. You just become like a mechanical machine that just needs service and oil. Your purpose goes beyond this and only begin to unfold when you embark on the journey of becoming a better version of yourself. So, work harder on yourself at your job or work or your relationship or your business. We also benefit tremendously because what stand happen, you become a better person. You identify your strength, you identify your weaknesses, and you know how to manage this or optimize it. Lastly, accountability. No one is responsible for your joy. I'm sorry to break this for you, but it is the truth. Happiness and well-being, no one. You are responsible for it. And it can only happen when you work on yourself to become accountable for these feelings. Often we teach people how to treat us. So ask yourself, what messages are you sending out through your actions? Whether direct or indirect. You tell people that you are easy to be taken advantage of. Are you being in a relationship because you feel sorry for someone, even though you cannot live with their character? Are you not enough for yourself that you feel like only when somebody is in your life that you can be happy? Is your happiness is attached to a condition? Ask yourself, why? striving to be better. I learn accountability. Our lack of accountability, always looking for someone to blame, has hindered our progress. It is a learning behavior until we bring the unconscious to consciousness. Progress can be stunted. If we don't bring unconscious to conscious, our progress can be stunted. So this is the area when you already identify your strengths and you're also aware of your weaknesses. Finally, as I'm running out of the time, because we want to try making our podcast within the 20 minutes period. Finally, these are the major 3 lessons striving to be better has taught me. And the journey is continuous one. One of the fascinating things about snakes growing up is how they discarded their skin periodically with minimal effort. Striving to be better is continuous work. It should help us emphasize our strengths more and manage our weaknesses. So, by doing this, we are aware of what capacity will bring joy and pain into this world if we are not fully engaging with it. I hope this message helps someone. And if you like to receive weekly article, cover all the topics that we share on the podcast, please sign up on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. It's just an email and you will always get alert or the article link every week when we release new one. Until we meet again, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.